Welcome to episode 5 of the Fringe for Thought podcast. The Fringe is a hotspot for meeting people from all over the world because of its incredible draw. We got to sit down with the Ganymede Theatre Company from the UK to talk about their experience with their original play, Eleanor. We're hearing from the titular character, played by Arlene McKay, writer and director Agnes Perry Robinson, assistant director Eve Hartley, and cast member Ash McSherry about their experience. Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Fringe for Thought. I'm your host, Abby Palmer, and I am here with Eve at the Edinburgh Fringe 2024. Eve has a production called Eleanor here this year. Tell me about your role with the production, Eve.
So I'm co-director. I was originally assistant director back in November, but Aggie got me on board, and we basically had this 10-minute meeting about Little Women.
Okay. I did feel a Little Women vibe while watching, especially at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know the TV series The Dolls as
I
well.
don't know that, no.
It's like an English kind of My Family and Other Animals TV series. We kind of just sat down and talked about that, and she was like, yeah, I'll get you on board.
Very cool. And you guys started working on this project when you were in undergrad?
Yes, we did. So Aggie and I were in our last year of university, and we talked back in November. We performed. We talked back in September and filmed in November.
Very cool.
It's really interesting.
And what is it like taking the show from undergrad to now?
Big step.
Yeah, definitely. International stage step. Yeah.
I suddenly feel the pressure of like people coming to like. I think with student theatre, you kind of feel very dependent on like your inner circle and like, please come and see my show.
Yeah.
This one's like international, and it's a big kettle of fish.
Yeah, absolutely. What did you learn in your undergrad experience that you think has helped you succeed with your show at the Fringe? Because they had a long line today. Yeah, you did.
What have I experienced? I think just like in terms of the process, definitely checking one another.
Yeah.
It's a long process.
Yeah.
And you know, it can get extremely stressful and tiring, and I think it's just good to check in on yourself.
Yeah.
Especially like there's so much to think about. Like Aggie has been amazing in terms of she's not only been the writer and the director, but she's essentially been the producer as well.
Really? Wow.
So the woman has just been powering through with all of that. But I think it's just depending on one another.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're new to this industry.
Right.
And it's just good to support one another.
Yeah, and there's no better way or place to exercise being there for each other, I think, than the Fringe, because of the stress that it can seem to be for some people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have directing experience before, or was this your first time?
I directed one other play, but this was after Eleanor. So a guy came up to me after the show and said, I really liked your directing style. Do you mind coming and directing with me?
Very cool.
It's a play called Things I Know to Be True by Andrea Boba.
Okay.
It was really good. That was really fun. But I've always kind of been the actor, never the director.
Yeah.
So this is a very new experience, but it's not what I want to do.
Yeah. So did you start doing the other side of theater in undergrad, or was that a postgraduate?
Yeah, it was definitely an undergrad thing. At school, I did about 15 productions.
Oh, wow.
And then a friend of mine, actually, she went into film, and she basically said, oh, just give it a try, see how you feel.
Yeah.
And it's been an interesting process, and I definitely want to go into casting directing.
Very cool.
But directing, I'm not so sure about. It's been a very cool experience.
Yeah.
Directing itself, and seeing new and up and coming actors coming into the world and
meeting people from everywhere and their stories. Yeah, absolutely. What do you wish that you learned in school you think that would have helped you succeed more here at the Fringe?
In school, we weren't really given the opportunity to be on the side of production.
Okay.
We were always actors or lighting and sound.
It was one path. Yeah.
But it wasn't ever directing, and I would have really loved to have seen more from my school.
Okay.
But it was a very good school for drama. My drama teacher was the best drama teacher, I think. She's actually coming to the Fringe.
Oh,
it's quite
how
weird.
nice.
I messaged her, just like, please can you
Yeah. I'm sure she'll love it. And what university was this? Tell me.
Okay, sorry, university.
Where you went, yeah.
I went to Edinburgh University.
Okay, so you're right here, right in the home. Yeah, wonderful. If you were to bring a student onto your team, either for the project of Eleanor or for another project, what would you look for in a new team member? Like, what is the number one factor that you look for in someone to work with?
Cars for Eleanor are such like, where we are now, we're such a tight knit of people. Like, we all get on. Like, I know this is such a cliche, but it is essentially a family.
Yeah.
And everyone's got their own like sense of humour. They all bring something to the table.
Yeah.
And they're all extremely passionate about the things that they want to do.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a woman who plays Dolly, she wants to go and do architecture. She's extremely talented, very artistic.
Yeah.
There are all these people who like bring a new artistic view in life, and I think I really need to see like the motivation and like the care that goes into making something.
Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely that.
That is a very common answer too when I ask that question, because theater's very much about the passion, and you only want people that are fully in it and want to be invested in it. And I think with the work that you put into it is when, like you said, the family aspect kind of comes into play, because everybody sees how hard everybody's working on your production and how much you care about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, Eve. I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's been very good to.
Hi, everybody. I am here with Arlene, another member of the company of Eleanor at the Edinburgh Fringe, and you are the titular role of the show,
I
correct?
am Eleanor.
Yeah, tell me about that.
So I play a character called, obviously, Eleanor, and she is Eleanor Marx, so she's Karl Marx's daughter. And he actually had a lot of daughters, not a lot of people know about them. So Eleanor was actually, she really contributed to the socialist movement. She was I wouldn't say a pioneer, but she definitely contributed like massively to it. However, because of her like literally being the daughter of Karl Marx, she never really was credited. I think as well her status as a woman contributed to that, because obviously this is before women had like basic rights. So to be an academic, to be a female academic in that time was just like, it was very undermining. I mean, she was essentially like the first Nepo baby. That's like a really easy way to put it. Like everything she done and worked on throughout her life was undermined by her father. The play itself I would say it's like a beautiful tragedy. It's very like female friendship, and unfortunately a massive theme is like toxic relationships. She embarks on this relationship with a man called Edward Aveling, and that ultimately leads to her demise. I don't want to give too much away. Come see it or read it.
No, it's true. That's one of the lines that like made me tear up, was when Dolly said, or her husband said, she was your true love, and I accepted that years ago. And
it's
that
so
was
nice,
so beautiful,
because it's so real. Like your friends are your true love.
Yes.
Like
girlhood.
Exactly. Like I literally do have a boyfriend. Hi, Lewis. But I love my besties more. Shout out Kaylin and Rihanna. Like we've been best friends since like literally since high school. So when I do this, they're very much in my thought, and it's so, for me, like my girls are everything, and they get me through so much. Especially like even Fringe, it's a difficult time. Like when you're running every day, you're running around like crazy doing a show, and it's things like, it really is for me like my mates that keep me going, and they get me through it, and they are very much what like inspire me to do what I do. Yeah,
this may be a stretch of a question, but what did you learn in school that helped you tap into these real life experiences as an actress?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. I mean, I think for me, I grew up in Dundee, and it was a city that didn't like, it doesn't really, I don't want to like slate it too much, but it doesn't really have a lot going for it. Like it was easy to get bored in that city.
Sure.
And I think that was what kind of prompted me to leave. But I had such good friends growing up, and I knew what it was like to kind of go through sort of rough times, but have those people by you to like uplift you. So I could very much tap into that. That side of things. Like I feel like I do think I could relate a lot just from having really good friends and a really good group around me that I've had my two best friends have been friends since we were like 11, so it's that kind of bond that's unbreakable, so I can very much relate to that.
Absolutely. Is this your first Fringe?
No, it's actually my third.
Oh wow.
I've done it. This is my third year. The first year I was 2021. That was my debut. I think I was 19, and now I'm 21, and this year I'm doing 2 shows, so this is kind of my
that's crazy.
Running around like mad. I mean, the shows are so different as well. Like Eleanor, I play like literally like a sadhana, like I'm so posh and it's all sort of like
What's
this.
your
And
other show?
and my other show is called Wish You Were Here, and it's basically about life in Scotland, like what it's like growing up in sort of a working class background and how difficult it can be when you want to pursue something, like when you do kind of, I can relate to this as well, when you go off and you want to seek sort of like higher education, and how the people that you leave behind can feel quite neglected, or you know, and especially in Scotland, like there's a massive drug culture here, and it's really unfortunate, and it's about the way that that kind of can infiltrate on an individual's life and kind of ultimately like be the demise. It's a really beautiful story. I urge you to go and see it. We're on it, Riddles Court at Greenside, and our opening night is the 19th.
Are we.
Oh wow, okay, there we go. But yeah, definitely come along if you've got the time.
Are you going to do both at the same time?
No, luckily. So Eleanor finishes on the 17th.
Okay.
And then I
jump to that
start
show.
on the 19th, so I've got like that kind of day in between.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just kind of like,
have you been rehearsing for your other show?
yeah, we have. So it's schedule's a bit crazy right now. So as of tomorrow, I'm in there 9 a.m. till maybe about 11:30ish.
Right
and
before
then
your show.
Yeah, right before my show. So it's gonna be. I mean, we'll see how it goes. I think it'll be fine. I think anything that is worth doing is never necessarily easy. And this is something I'm really passionate about, so I'm just like giving it everything I got this year.
And have you studied theatre at university?
So yeah, I'm still currently in uni, so I am just going into my 4th year. So I study acting in English. Okay. So it's a really interesting degree, because you do get that practical acting side, and then you literally are doing an English literature degree.
It's a great double.
It's so handy, and I always kind of, I mean, since I was about 7, I knew that was acting was something I wanted to do. But I've always loved literature, loved writing. That was always really one of my passions. So when I found that course, I was like, that's perfect. And it's at Napier, so I'm not even Edinburgh Uni. They're all Edinburgh Uni. I'm a Napier girly. Shout out to Napier University. But yeah, no, it's a really, I'm really fortunate to even have a place there, because it's quite you know, you got to audition and things to go on, and but it's a course that's supported me through all this. And I would definitely
very cool. Do they train you about how to do multiple works at the same time, like you're doing here at the Fringe?
Not necessarily. No, I wouldn't say that. I think, and that's one thing I do like about my course. It's they encourage you to do it yourself. You know, they like, you can lead a horse to water. Do you know what I mean? Like, it needs to be.
You have to take hold of the opportunity.
It's got to be off your own accord. Like, if you want to do something, you're going to go out and do it. And I feel like, I mean, I think as well, because I've been wanting to do this since I was so young. Yeah. I think just right now I'm in a position in my life where I can just kind of throw everything at it. Yeah. And I just feel like that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm really happy.
Yeah,
you know?
that's amazing.
I'm so fortunate. I get great opportunities. I get to meet amazing people like yourself. Like, it's such a good. No, it is. I feel like things are going really well, and the Fringe is just so fun.
It's great networking, and it's so great that you're still an undergrad too and doing all of this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm dreading like post-uni life. I don't want to pay council tax. I'm going to be real. That's the one. I'm like, that is it. I'm like, I won't get my student finance.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a hard.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I am post-grad and I'm still here doing this. So you can keep anything up. If you, like you said, if you care enough about it, you can keep doing it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, no, you're so right.
Yeah.
You're so right.
It's true. What would you say that you wish you learned at university that you think would help you more, especially with doing 2 shows, running the whole month, things like that?
I don't know, what do I think I've done? Bit niche, but I think more voice training. Weirdly, we don't really get a lot of like vocal training. Okay. So I think that would help me, because I'm really like fighting at the odds here with my like vocal warm-ups in the morning. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, and then going on stage like wearing myself out, and I'm like, please, I need my voice to survive this whole month. That is a niche one, but I actually do. That's great. In all other aspects, we are quite like, well, I don't know, I feel like they give us the tools. You're gonna use them or you're not. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm in a position where I just do. Yeah. And, you know.
Do they teach you how to take care of your body too as an instrument?
No,
it's okay if the answer's no.
I would say no. No, not really. Okay. Like, I feel like
you have to learn how to do it yourself.
Yeah, DIY it. You'll figure it out. I mean, it's hit or miss. Do you know though? I've actually not been going out, and I've not really been drinking this month. Only time I've been having a drink. I work in a pub as well. Okay. So I'll have.
You're doing everything, girl.
I know. I'm like a Barbie, like all these different jobs. But I'll have a wee cheeky, like at the end of my shift, I'll have like a wee cheeky pint. But other than that, I'm like, actually, body's a temple kind of era for me right now. No, I feel like I'm quite lucky in the sense that because I live here, like my network was kind of expanded. Like every day when I'm flying, I see someone I know. Like great. So the way my course works is that like at the end of your 4th year, you do a Fringe show. So many people in the year above me are doing shows. Like my flatmate's got a show on just now called Take Me to Your Leader. Go see it. She's great. It's like, I don't know, so I feel like just because I'm kind of in that circle and I sort of live with other actors and, do you know what I mean, you kind of do know everyone, but a lot of it is from doing other shows, and that's one thing I found. It's like, the second show I'm doing just now, the guy who wrote it, I did a show with him like a couple of years ago. I didn't really think much of the show, like I wasn't like a titular character, it was my first Fringe, I was just kind of a side character, and from that it's now led to like doing this other show and then meeting more people.
It's amazing.
It's just kind of like led me to the conclusion of like, see, if you're doing it, like say if you are going for an audition and you're like, oh, the role is tiny, if you're trying to break into something, it doesn't matter how big or small, just bloody do it.
There are no small parts.
No, there aren't. There really aren't, because you never know where it'll lead you. And even like Ash was saying earlier on, like Olive's a smaller part and all this kind of thing. But I think that in itself is nonsense. Okay, do I speak a little bit more on stage? Yeah, Eleanor loves a wee yap. But I couldn't do it without the cast, and I couldn't. Like, it's you know, they bring such an energy that it's infectious to be around, and it lifts you up and it keeps you going, and you have that momentum, and it's like, I couldn't do that without any of them. Do you know what I mean? So it's there are, and you're right, there are no small parts.
Yeah, absolutely. What have you found are the best qualities in a company that you work with?
Specifically Ganymede, or just like
any company? Any company. Even if you find it in your current company.
The best thing I find in a company, I would probably say, is just like cohesion. I don't know, I just feel like when you all have a shared goal and everyone's in on it, and you just want to work together and you want to be tight-knit when you have that sort of shared aim, because it means that you will all just naturally look out for each other and lift each other up. And, you know, it's something that's really important. I mean, even within Ganymede, we all really, I think that's one thing that's evident, is we all really care about each other. And even despite, you've seen the show, like it gets nasty at times. Like my partner in the show is literally so horrible to me. He's horrible. But like, when we come off stage, like he is like literally the loveliest guy. He is always like, when I get off stage, he's always like, you're killing it, you're doing great. But you know, the amount of times I've like went off stage and like the audience are like, I don't even want to look at this man, like he seems dreadful.
It's his bow, no clap.
Literally, like my partner's mum was there yesterday, and she was like, I don't even want to see that boy. He could be really nice, but I don't want to look at him. I was like,
means he's doing a good job though.
I know, I was like, you're killing it, babe. You're killing it.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. Hi everybody, I am here with Ash, another member of the show Eleanor, here at the Edinburgh Fringe 2024. How are you, Ash?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now tell me about your role with the show.
So I play one of Eleanor's friends called Olive. It's a smaller part compared to I play Eleanor's part, Eleanor in Eleanor, but it's a lot of fun, and I do think like there are bigger parts, but it is very much a bit of an ensemble piece. We have lots of bits with all of us in it, and I enjoy that aspect of things. And yes, I play one of her friends, Olive Schreiner, who again was a real person, so all the characters are real people. And she herself has her own very interesting history, and it's nice to have like a little section of that, you know, mention of her in that.
Absolutely. Did you study acting at university?
No, I don't. I study English lit and German.
Okay.
Can
you say something in German for us?
Fabelhaft.
What is that?
Fabulous.
I love it. So when did you get into acting?
I started acting at secondary school. I was very much like a ballet girl growing up, and then kind of went from that into acting.
Me too.
But I went to, it's such like a classic route,
Great track.
But I went to a girls' school, for a secondary school, so I always played men. Like I've literally never played a woman, whereas in this, pretty pink dress, pink ribbon in my hair, but I always played men, so I've never played a woman. So I started doing lots of random acting then, and just did it at school, did it for A-level, did it for GCSE. Can
you explain what that means to us Americans?
So GCSE is exams when I'm like 16, and then like in the UK, there's all the A-levels are like, in England, in year 13 it's 3. Basically you normally choose like 3 subjects, sometimes 4. And so I did English, German and drama. So, I'm trying to do all the 3 at uni. So
very cool. And were you with the original cast of Eleanor?
Yeah, I was.
And what was it like doing it that time versus now at the Fringe?
A slightly different cast, shorter play, of course, more streamlined, which is I think you probably for the best.
Because of the restrictions of the Fringe and your time limit and all that.
And also like I'm so lucky to be here. So basically I started uni this year, and I literally went to my first Eleanor audition. So we did it in November, which was a lot of fun, and we mainly did that over 5 weeks, and then we again came back to it in May. So it's been a different time of year as well, which I actually feel builds into it, like with our photo shoots and like aesthetic and everything. So
very fun.
You know what, lucky to be here, a lot of fun. So
is this your first Fringe?
Yeah, this is my first Fringe. I came very briefly to the Fringe, but in 2021, and because of COVID, it was actually like, I literally saw one comedian. So this is so overwhelming in a good way.
What do you think?
I love it, but there are 1,000 things to do and see all the time, and I cannot choose. It's ridiculous. So, and it's obviously And also, I kind of don't really factor in that it's going to be a bit tiring because, like, I'm doing this show, I'm
Yes.
flying for another show, and blah, blah,
Oh,
blah.
wow.
And, like, yesterday I saw 3 shows as well. So I was like, today
Right.
I need to go to bed.
I know. I feel like I feel like everyone stays up so late, so it feels like
Yeah.
the days are so long. But then when I get to doing everything during the day, I'm like, there are not enough hours in the day here. There's so much to do.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
Literally, so much to do and not enough hours. And I think because the evenings are so light for so long,
Yeah.
I'm like, there's thousands I could be here all day. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous,
and
but
it's so
lovely.
important to take care of yourself too. Like, I'm not even an actor in the show, and I'm so exhausted. Like, I cannot imagine what you guys feel like.
Yeah. And that's the thing is, though, I think I have it bad, and then there's like Eleanor who has 1,000 lines and is doing another show, and I'm like, actually, I like go on and say some lines, run around, and I'm like, I'm exhausted.
Were you taught anything in university or when you were doing your acting school about, sustaining yourself as well to be able to keep the production a good quality?
That is such a good thing to point. No, I know nothing. I'm so bad at looking
That's
after myself.
okay.
I'm actually terrible. Like I'm the worst. Like I have like a no sleep schedule.
Yeah.
I need to like cook.
This is the unhinged interviewee.
Yeah. Like I'm the worst cook in the world. Like I'm terrible at looking after myself. So I'm actually gonna go home and nap. Sorry, that's the wrong answer, I feel. Yeah, I'm a mess.
So what do you wish that you learned that you think would have helped you better here? Either in that aspect or in some other part of the production?
Oh, I think I'm constantly relearning the same lesson that I think you can't do everything all at once.
Yeah.
Because I want to do so many things.
Yeah.
And but then I'm like, I've got to factor in sleep and I've got to factor in this and the other. So I think it's a lesson I relearn, and I reminded myself today I need to sleep. I
Yeah.
need to sleep and do. So looking after yourself is very important. And
Yeah.
but I think it's so difficult to actually do, especially when you're turning down plays and plans
I
and all these things you
know.
want to do. But
Yeah.
that I need to, because I was like that last time around.
And you meet so many people and you want to see every show that
Yeah.
you like talk to, but it's so difficult because
Yeah.
there's such little time.
Literally, and there's so many people.
I know.
So many people. It's exciting.
So speaking of, what types of networking have you done while being here?
Ooh, I actually think this is such a wrong answer. My flyering is a networking.
No,
in itself.
absolutely.
I just chat to all the flyers.
Yes.
I chat to everyone all
Yeah.
the time. I was like, we need to actually hand out my flyers. But so much chatting. I'm trying to think. Also, my family's all here and they're so loud.
Oh,
like they chat to
nice.
people. It's really no. We all chat to so many people.
Yeah.
Whatever that counts as. Well.
Yeah. If you were looking for another person to join your company at some point, what would be the number one thing that you look for in a newcomer to your group?
Ooh. I like open people. I like loud people. I like getting to know people.
Yeah.
I mean, not too much. I don't want like competition. No. Sorry, wrong answer. Supportive everyone. I think if we had another cast member, we'd have to have another woman because there's already more men and it is a woman play. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So we need another girl, but I think we need someone. I don't know. I think there's sometimes qualities. People who really like. Not sensible, but like put together or like reliable. I think
Organized,
That's what we need. I need that
Prepared,
organized,
yeah.
prepared. I think we like a balance is something we don't really have. Well, we
Yeah.
do have that, but I don't. So somebody like that. Somebody.
Yeah.
Maybe I think quiet people are nice, but open, quiet, and organized.
Thank you so much for talking
Yeah,
to
thank
me
you for
today.
having me.
Hi, everybody. I am here with Aggie. She is the writer of Eleanor. Aggie, how are you?
Thank you. How are you?
Good, thank you. Tell me about your time writing this show. You started it in university and now it's here at the Fringe. Tell me about that journey.
So I wrote the show originally in August, and then I'm also the director as well. So
Oh, wow.
I pitched it to direct it in the university because the way Eleanor works is that basically you have to pitch a show to get it put on. So I pitched it as the director.
Yeah.
I advertised for assistant. You've applied.
Yeah.
And so then we got it on in November. And I'd originally written it because I'd been working at a bookshop in London.
Oh,
And I'd found some letters, through my research, from Eleanor Marks to Dolly,
yeah.
who are the two central characters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just knew, I knew I wanted to write it, and then with Eve, we basically put it on in November.
Wow. So was that your first writing experience or have you had much previous writing experience?
Not really, no. I mean, I've written parodies and stuff like every English literature.
Wow. So that was your big first piece of work?
Like my first play, yeah.
Wow. You saw this play. That is amazing. I loved it. That's amazing. Wow. I'm going to be like blown away by that for a few minutes. So it started in university, and then how did you guys decide that you wanted to bring it to the Fringe?
Well, I've done the Fringe before
Okay.
as in 2022. I did 2 shows. One I was assistant directing. It was great. It was really fun.
Yeah.
With our dean, and the other was this poem that was just a car crash, but in the best kind of way. Like, a really fun like poetry show that no one came to, but it was me and a 65-year-old man, and it was literally amazing.
Yeah.
But I loved the Fringe.
Okay.
And I felt like doing it at like 19 when I did do it first time out was really fun and exciting, and I just thought this is the place where Eleanor needs to go.
Yeah.
Because we're all older now and we've graduated.
Absolutely.
And I thought, yeah, it's where it should go. It's such a, I mean, this is your first Fringe?
This is my second Fringe, but some of our company members, it is their first Fringe, so.
There's no energy like it.
Absolutely, yeah. Had you been to Fringe through school, or was it an independent thing?
Independent. Yeah, but we started off doing that show through uni, but then we went on separate ways for the Fringe. So I've never actually been involved in uni Fringe stuff.
Did they do anything like any other type of festival, or was that something you like completely found on your own and wanted to pursue?
I think the uni does a lot with the Fringe.
Yeah.
They do amazing things, but I just, for some reason, through my time at Edinburgh, I've always done projects that have been outside of cast, really.
Yeah.
Outside of the societies.
And what would you say the difference between your first Fringe and this Fringe is like?
I had a Fringe on the first Fringe, and I was younger, and I think different. I mean, the first Fringe, I was a lot less confident, I think.
Okay.
I mean, I was 19, like...
Yeah, it's really intimidating.
Yeah, it's so intimidating.
Yeah.
And also, it was a completely foreign concept, and I was completely learning every minute of the day.
Yeah.
This Fringe, I've had to have running a company as well, and
Yeah.
having like 10 people
Yeah.
in the company to worry about. It's been a very different responsibility.
Yeah.
And also financially, we're responsible for it now.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger thing.
Absolutely.
Whereas back then it was more fun and games.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's like, it's been
You're trying to make it a little more serious than it was trying to figure it out the first time. Yeah. And at both Fringes, you wore multiple hats with your productions.
Yes.
What's that been like balancing that?
I'm not really an actress. I'm not.
Yeah.
I love
For
being-
writing and directing, yeah.
No, but the first Fringe I was performing and directing, and this Fringe I'm writing and directing. I think it's much harder. I've directed 4 shows now, and
Wow.
this is the first one that it's been my own play,
Yeah.
and it's really strange.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be annoying and say to people when they don't like a line, no, you gotta keep that in.
Yeah.
Being like a dictator.
That's not how I wrote it. Yeah,
exactly. And it's so boring.
Yeah, I get it.
And be but at the same time, I know what I meant when I wrote.
Right.
And I think you some days she's the things that
Yeah.
But I feel, because sometimes I'll be like, no, I wrote it this way, and she'll be like, no, this way, and I know it's really annoying. And
She's getting a kick out of it over
I
there.
can't help it. So I think that there's certainly and you can't escape when you wrote it and you've written it, because it's in your mind constantly.
Yeah.
And that is what I found different, I guess, about doing both.
Yeah. Did you get any training from university, trying being on both sides?
I studied in English literature,
Okay.
and I spent my 3rd year abroad in
Cool.
Barcelona,
Oh, wow.
where I directed a show, which was this French translation. I won't say the show, but it was a really shit translation. And I was directing a budget show. It was quite scary as well, talking about that and confidence needed.
Yeah.
Because the people in my show out there were a lot older side than me.
Yeah.
They were in their 30s and their 40s.
Yeah.
And I was a little trying, I was like a little squib. Just, such a child.
Yeah.
Having to direct a script that I didn't fully agree with and that I felt could be improved so much, but being the barrier of copyright
Yeah.
was a really interesting way of getting around things, I'd say.
Yeah.
So I'd say that's probably, but no, I mean, the uni, 2 lectures a week can't learn much. So, so.
What do you wish that you learned in your time there that you think would have helped you more here?
Yeah, I think I've loved my time at university in many ways, but I think that starting off in COVID and all that stuff,
Yeah.
it hasn't been the most. There's just not there's not much work, or it's the education system in the UK, it's sorting out anyway. But
Yeah.
like, I've only had 2 lectures a week. I mean, I'm guessing that's probably quite a shock because I feel like,
Yeah.
and it's quite minimal. I mean, in my 4th year, I did some amazing things. I mean, I studied amazing books, but I wish that there'd been a bit more on the curriculum, a bit more to offer.
And a little more industry education too.
Definitely.
Totally. If you were looking for someone to ever join your team or be on the creative team with you for a show that you wrote, what would you look for in an intern or an application?
I think what's so great about Coates Company, the one that we've started, like, is everyone there. Everyone is so passionate about play,
Yeah.
and it shows. And you know, I think that I mean, people need to be passionate about the show that you're working on.
Yeah.
Especially like with Eleanor, we're fundraising for a Women's Day charity.
Which is amazing.
They're an amazing charity.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, once we step outside the actual play itself and once you see that external sort of goal that we're trying to achieve,
Yeah.
you know, every member of the company is committed to doing that, of coming up with ideas and, you know, ways to change, ways to fundraise, or ways to sell flyers, or ways to market. They are so determined to sell this show, and I think that has been the easiest thing as something, you know, to have in the company alongside me. But so yeah, I'd say being committed and dedicated and having the same goals.
Absolutely. If your heart's not in it, nothing's in it.
exactly.
So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for talking to me today, Aggie.